What's up, y'all? It's good to be back. Sorry I've been gone so long. um this one this video I want to been wanting to do for the longest time, and I think it'll hopefully help you guys in terms of getting ready for tax season. I know quite a few of you have been requesting that. I know I said I would do it when I made my first video, and I didn't expect to get so busy with everything that has been going on with Uber and Lyft. I've also been doing a lot of other projects. So, this is actually going to be like the preview video for what I have to come. See, I have been trying to make a PowerPoint presentation for you guys in regards to taxes, and then when I looked at it, I'm like, this is too freaking long. I don't want to put these guys to sleep. So I've been doing some serious editing with that, but in the meantime, tax season is creeping up on us now. Starts next month, y'all. It's a month from now. I know it's not everybody's favorite topic, especially us, since working independently, it seems like we might owe. And that may not be the case if you know how to, if you're diligent with your books, or you're keeping in contact with your accountant or your tax specialist, or just ask me if you have any questions. Okay, and I'll do my best to school you, but in the meantime, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to get right into the one thing that you guys need the most in order to get ready for tax season, and that's what can you deduct? What can you deduct in order to keep from having to pay that pesky self-employment tax? I mean, federal and state depends on your personal circumstances, you know, how many kids you're claiming or dependents you're claiming, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to focus on the business side. And I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'll be able to give you any better presentation when I get the real video done. But I want to get this out now so you guys can start getting prepared, because I don't know when I'm going to finish that other thing, and there's so many other things I want to talk about in the meantime. So I'm going to get started now. First thing, okay, for those of you seasoned Uber and Lyft drivers who are making really buku bucks with the business, and I'm not talking about just the driving, I'm talking about the marketing side, getting your promo code out there. I'm sure you guys have done promo cards, you've done websites, and you've done all kinds of, or perhaps flyers or shirts, or, you know, clothes or something like that. Well, clothes don't, that's a different subject. I mean, same thing, but different category. Those of you who have been doing that can deduct your expenses, okay? If you've got monthly hosting fees or promo business cards or anything, that's advertising. You can deduct that, okay? Make sure you keep a record of it, okay? We'll get into the biggest thing, your car. Yeah. Your car insurance is deductible, okay? Before I touch on that, I want to just discuss one thing briefly to make sure you understand how the whole car issue works, okay? A lot of times, some unlucky person will get randomly audited. And that's my biggest thing I like to discuss with my clients. I'm not going to give you any type of advice without making you aware of the little traps that are out there that the government sets for you that will cause you to have to pay an arm and a leg because of certain things that you weren't aware of in regards to taxes. Okay? So, we all know you can deduct your car expenses, your repairs, your parking tolls, and all that other good stuff. What a lot of you are not aware of is personal use. You can claim all of the costs in regards to your car only if you're using it for specifically for business. Okay? So if you're driving like a car with the Lyft or the Uber logo all over it and you do not touch it at all for personal use. You know, and a lot of you guys say, well, I work 10, 12 hours, you know, seriously, all I do with this car is use it for business. Okay, this is what the government will ask you when you get the little love letter in the mail. How many cars you got? 1 or 2? If you say 2, you can get away with it, okay? There's one person in this business and you got 2 cars, fine, they won't bother you. Okay, you got another car, and don't be surprised. And here's another thing. Anything you say to the government must have the ability to be proven on paper. So don't think you can tell them, oh yeah, I drive 2 cars. They're going to say, okay, registration and insurance, please. Give us a copy of that and we'll take your word for it. Okay? Don't tell the government anything that you cannot prove legally on paper. Okay? So, now that we got beyond that, let's get to the personal use versus business. Okay? So, you have 2 cars in your possession, 1 for business, 1 for personal. You're home free. You don't even have to listen to this part of the discussion, okay? But if you only use 1 car, that means you do use it on occasion for personal. You have to go to the store. You have to run errands. You have to go see about a family member. Even if it's just for 10 minutes out of the day, it doesn't matter. You still use it for personal use as well as business. So, this is my advice when it comes to doing your car expenses. Okay? When you add them all up, don't use all of it. Take like 80% of it, I'd say, because most of the day is contributed to this business. If you're using the car for your business most of the day and you're working full time, I'd say 85% tops. Take all of your expenses, your car expenses, and then just times it by 0.85, okay? 85% of that is what you can deduct, okay? Leave the rest of it aside, and that's how you explain to the government, you know what? I use this car for 85% of my day, because most of the time I come home, I just go to bed. But yes, I do have to go to the store every once in a while, but when you show them what your personal expenses are, then they'll leave you alone. But that's a discussion you have with your accountant. But like I said, and when you do have the discussion with your accountant, make sure he or she is aware that you have accounted for personal use. Okay, now back to car expenses. What can you deduct? Gas. Yeah, I hope you guys are keeping your gas receipts. Now, let me touch on that part. Sorry, this video is going to be a little long. There's a lot to talk about, okay? Gas receipts. If you guys are not good at keeping receipts, here's a piece of advice. Don't pay for your gas in cash. In fact, anything you buy for Uber and Lyft specifically must not be paid for in cash. Okay? Newbies, I'm going to repeat it again. Don't use cash. Why can't we use cash? Simple. Cash is not traceable. Cash is not provable. Remember what I said earlier. If you can't prove what you say to the government legally on paper, it didn't happen. All right? Just want to make that clear. They will go for, if you don't have receipts, they'll go for spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, it's good. You know, you don't have to back that up with receipts, but at least you've kept a record. They like that. Spreadsheets, record books, or log books, that's good. Okay? Bank statements are the best. That's why I said don't use cash. Use a credit or debit card to pay for all of your expenses, so that if you don't have receipts, you can use your bank statements. It's all there. They kept a record of it for you. Okay? All right. So now that we got all of that covered, I'm going to just list the expenses. Okay? If you're leasing a car, your monthly lease payments are deductible. But remember about the personal use thing, okay? Car insurance, that's monthly car insurance premiums, that's deductible. Your gas, we already went over that. Parking tolls or tolls in the streets. If Uber and Lyft, I'm not sure if they do the street tolls or anything. I forget what you call them. If you didn't get reimbursed for that, yeah, put that down. You can deduct that too. But just make sure you have a receipt in tow. You know, if you paid cash or anything, you know, and you don't like holding on receipts, just dump it in a shoebox. Because that's the way my clients are with me. I've had clients come to me with box loads full of paper bags full of nothing but paper and receipts to come and help them sort out all that junk for their business. It's ridiculous. But that's what my clients do. I don't recommend it because it's a headache, but you can do it. Just do it, you know, because that's what you guys pay us for, to sort all that stuff out for you. Okay? So, I think repairs, and I deduct the whole thing with repairs. Don't worry about the personal use crap. Okay. Repairs like monthly maintenance. I mean, not monthly. Maintenance and oil changes and all that good stuff. Yes, that is also deductible. Then mileage. 58 cents. Last I checked, they change it every year. But federal government allows you to deduct for every 58 cents for every mile you've driven for this business. Something on my mouth. Okay. That's tricky too. I want you to discuss the mileage issue with your accountant, because mileage is in 3 parts. Okay. There's personal, there's commuting, and then there's business. Okay. Personal, straightforward. You know what that is. Okay. So I'm not even going to get into that. Commuting and business. Commuting miles is the amount of miles you drove from your house to either the place you go to wait for ride requests or your first pickup. Okay? If you went to that place, if you started from your house to wherever, that mileage right there you cannot use. That cannot be deducted, okay? That's what you call commuting miles, okay? And it's also the distance from your last drop-off back to your house. That is also considered commuting mileage, okay? That cannot be deducted either. Everything else in between, while that app is turned off, is deductible. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Business miles is that is. Everything in between from your first pickup to your last drop off. And that includes the time you spent fishing for rides, is deductible. Okay? All of that is considered business. Okay? Personal, you know what that is. But commuting, distance from your house to the first pickup or the place you wait for ride requests, and the distance from your last drop off to your house, that's commuting, not deductible. Okay? Going forward, keep a logbook of all of this. And you don't have to necessarily put personal, but I would if I were you. I would put, usually when I do taxes for people, I do on average for the year, I'd say, for personal. On average, the average person on the road does 12,000 miles worth of personal miles. Because, yes, they do ask you that. How many personal miles did you drive? How many commuting miles did you? All that confusing crap. Okay. That's for your accountant to figure out, but it's good that you guys understand how that works. So you know what you're talking about if you get a love letter from them and they ask you about it. But they do ask you that when you file your return. So now you guys know about mileage and how that works. The other thing about mileage that really stinks in terms of tax law is the government gives you a choice. And this is something else you guys will want to discuss with your accountant, is whether or not you can claim the mileage at all. In most cases you can. But when it comes to gas and repairs, they'll either let you claim that or they'll let you claim the mileage. Because they figure 58 cents a mile for all the miles you've driven is enough to cover the gas and the repairs. Okay? Basically, you take whichever one is bigger. If your gas and repairs are bigger, we'll go with that. If your 58 cents a mile is bigger, then you go with that. But make sure you keep a record of all of it, because, you never know which one might come out to be more. It's always best to just calculate and see which one works. The next expense is cell phone. Your monthly cell phone. Yes, you can take that off too. But that's another personal use thing. If you don't have a separate phone that's used personally, 85%, y'all. Okay? Take your total amount that you spent for the year on your cell phone bill and times that by 0.85, you got how much you can deduct for business. Okay? Supplies. Supplies would be stuff like that. Let me see if I can get that thing. The cell phone stand. My little steering wheel cover to massage my hands while I'm driving. Car charger. You see all that junk up there. Air freshener. Yeah, we need that, don't we? You know what? I don't have to tell you what comes in that car, but you do need some air freshener. I hope you kept the receipts for all of that, because yes, that's considered supplies. You can take that off. Okay. Let me see. 20 minutes. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna try to go faster without confusing the crap out of you. Okay, supplies. We did cell phone. We did the car. Oh, yes. You guys complain a lot about how much Uber and Lyft wear and tear on your car. That's deductible too, you guys. It's called depreciation. Okay. That is also something that your accountant will figure out for you, or TurboTax will figure it out for you. All they need to know is when you purchase the car, what year the car is, the make and model, and when you started using it for business. Okay? Oh yes. Let's go back to supplies. I know I purchased a lot of bookkeeping software. You can deduct that too. That's considered supplies, and you can deduct all of it. If you bought a computer so that you could do your website and recording and everything for videos and whatnot, you can deduct that. Okay? You just got, but you can't deduct the full cost. You know, like computers and stuff. You can deduct the wear and tear. Those you can pretty much, which is depreciation. I don't want to get confusing about it, but I'll just put it this way. You can deduct a small portion of the value every year for a certain number of years that the supply is actually good. Like, for example, each year your computer that you buy, or your car for that matter, loses value. Okay? And say the government considers it usable for about 5 years. So over the course of 5 years, you can deduct a piece of whatever that the price of that item costs. That's depreciation. Okay? I'm not going to get any more depth in it, because even for someone like me who's got like 6 years of experience with this, it's still very confusing, but that's all I'm going to say on it. I think that's enough information on that front. One other thing that I can come up with off the top of my head, which is, oh yeah, rentals. If you rented a car to drive for this, forget the personal use crap. If you rented a car to use for this business, take all of it. Every last ounce. Yes, you can say, I rented a car to use for Uber and Lyft. You can deduct all of that. Okay? Lastly, that I can come up off the top of my head is meals. If you're eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner while you're driving, keep the receipts, y'all, or your bank statements, because, yeah, you can take that off, too. Okay? Just make sure that it's just for you and not your daughter or your son or your brother, sister, or you took unless you're in the kind of, like, position like you're in insurance, where you might be meeting people at a restaurant and doing get-togethers and whatnot, and hosting parties. For this type of business, I'm not sure if the government would believe you if you told them that. So just stick to your own eating expenses. Please don't get too extravagant with it, because you want to go easy on the expenses, guys, because because really the reason why the government picks at us so much about it is because it's a deduction. A business is a major deduction all around. Okay, if you came out in the negative with the business, where your expenses were more than what you actually made, okay, and it came out negative, that kind of brings your whole income overall down. And when that happens, you don't have to pay. First of all, if you're in the negative with Uber and Lyft, you won't owe any self-employment tax. And see, that's when they start looking, nitpicking at every little thing. You're like, okay, you don't owe self-employment tax. Something wrong here. Let's take a good look at all of these expenses you listed here. And that's when you get this complicated little IRS love letter from them. I'm being sarcastic when I say love letter. Okay. You get something like that in the mail, and you understand what the heck they're talking about. They're counting on that. They're counting on you not knowing what they're talking about, so that you just leave it for whenever you get to it. And guess what? When you do that, basically they're going to say that the business did not exist. And if the business did not exist, that means the expenses didn't either. So you owe them more in taxes than what you stated on your tax return. So that's why I said, be easy on the expenses. And that's also why I explained to you about personal use versus business use. Okay? I hope all that makes sense. And I hope I didn't confuse the crap out of you. And I certainly hope I didn't scare the living crap out of you either. If you like what I did, please like my video. Let me know. I've got more coming on this. I've got other topics that I want to discuss with all of you, because in my absence, I've learned quite a bit, and I can't wait to share it with you. And I've also been working on a website. Check me out on that bad boy. And I am going to, that's the link for that is in my, on the channel, on this page. Just scroll down and you'll see it. Take a look at it and tell me what you think. It's got all the videos I've made so far in there. Oh my God, what is this? Popcorn. It's also got, it's got explanations there. It's got resources there. All the things that I've picked up so far. If you got questions on other, like insurance and all that stuff, I basically compiled it in one spot for you all. Okay, and there's other stuff there that I'm going to be putting up as well, because I took on, I'll get into that later. It's too much information at once, and I'm already at a half an hour. So I am going to end this here. If you guys have questions, please put that in the channel so that I can answer it for you. If I'm not on the road, I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I'm free. I hope I've proven that so far. Okay? It was nice talking to you guys again. So good luck on the road and many blessings to all of you.